then the Golden Voice, the Coachella doc was like my partner on the project, Zoe, who's an incredible director. She and we call it I call it our Delulu come Trululu, because it was completely delusional. Like, we literally were like, let's go make this documentary. I was like full-time work. I had a full-time job. She did too. And then I had like night classes every single day. It was in my last semester of my MFA program. And I was also working on my thesis, which was insane. And then on top of that, I was like, yeah, let's go do this documentary at Coachella.
That's okay. That's so wild. And let's just get into this documentary. Can you just tell us a bit of what it is, how it came about? Okay, so you said Zoe that you work with. Like, tell us the relationship between you two, all about it.
Yeah. So Zoe also went to USC. She was also class of 2019, but we like didn't know each other in undergrad. I don't know if you knew her, but
I don't think so.
she was in the media arts program. Like, she was basically doing the major version of my minor. And then she, graduated and immediately started like directing, and she's like worked for big documentary directors. But basically, one of our mutual friends, we had a lot of mutual friends, and one of our mutual friends, Hannah, connected us because Zoe was working on a project in relation to dance. And Hannah was like, you should meet Meghna. She's a dancer and she's in film. So then we connected, and then we just really got along. We really vibed. I feel like we really aligned in terms of like stories we were excited to tell. And we also had like different backgrounds and skill sets and stuff. And then we were just kind of like always chatting ideas. And then when the lineup was announced in January of last year, I think it was a couple of weeks after, we were like talking about it in February, and we just noticed so much. There was just a lot of media coverage in general about how international the lineup was compared to previous years. Like, all three headliners, of course, before the whole Frank Ocean thing happened, but like all three headliners were non-white. And then there were 3 different languages in amongst the headliners, which was crazy. And on top of that, there were so many other like international artists and artists with different like musical styles and backgrounds. And it was so cool to see. But also it was kind of like we were seeing like, and also within like the South Asian community, being like, there being 6 different names, and those 6 names representing like different regions within South Asia, which is something people don't really like realize, is that, there's Indian artists, there's a Pakistani artist, Bangladeshi artist. In the past, Coachella had MIA, who's from Sri Lanka, but there's so much diversity within South Asia. So we were like, this is such a special group of people, and like, some of their music, incorporates their cultural backgrounds, or, cultural, it's culturally influenced, but some of it is not. And that's totally fine. Like, they all were like in a completely different genre of music, and in different levels of their career. And some of them were like artists of the diaspora, like born and brought up in America or the UK. And then some of them were born and brought up in their home country. And I feel like that was just so crazy to see, because we've never seen anything like that in one space. You wouldn't even see anything like that within South Asia. And there was just so much emotion and excitement, like Vogue, BBC Asia, like it was all over. It was all over TikTok. It was everywhere. But at the same time, I was also seeing like other people react negatively to the lineup, and they were just like, who are, like typical, like, who are these names? I don't even know these names. Like, this is the worst lineup in Coachella history, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, there's this disconnect. Like, it means so much to people. And this other group of people doesn't realize that. And I was like, I just feel like this is a very special historic moment. And we both really, really wanted to document it.